get the full sunshine. Won't you? Will have sunshine up running in the woods, so the grass and trees of sunshine.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm beginning to think that we should have Alex win at Among Us more often. Thank you, Alex. Pretty much sorted this hype train, I'm sure, on your own. Let me try and repeat this. Oh man, see, I set these up, but it's not. It's not on it, and that's a shame because I set these up to be OSW logos, so they look pretty badass. But for some reason, it's not. It's not doing it. So, Alex, thank you so much for the bits and the subs. 20 you've given in the channel, mate. That's insane. Thank you so much. Dawson, for subscribing 11 months in a row now as well. Thank you very much. Just trying to go back through the list. Zach, thank you very much as well, buddy, for subbing in. Can't thank you guys enough. So here we are. Ring of Emotion, Fury 238. That's right, we've had 238 weekly shows in our dear 7-year history. It's quite insane, isn't it? Been a while. Trying to see if I can put a few more bits of chat on this thing, but it looks like it seems to cut off after just a few, which is really, really weird. I'm not really sure how to change that. Mostly because I'm stupid. Oh wait, here we go. There we go. Always show messages. That should do something, right? We'll try that out. See how that works. Hey Grim, how's it going, buddy? You missed a good game. A very good game. Lots of laughs this week. Not so much anger, but plenty of laughs, which is always good. Always a lot of fun. I don't understand why they aren't doing my thingy, man. It's so annoying. I had an OSW set up for it, and it looked really cool. I call it an OSW logo. Let me try follow and see if that works. Nah, it's not working. That sucks. But thank you very much for the hype train, and I'm for one more than thrilled for you to continue winning. Okay, I already clicked that. I need to fucking go mental. Is there? To continue winning Among Us if this is the way this goes for me. So here we are, the penultimate episode of Volume 2, Season 5. It's Fury. For those of you who don't know what we're about, Crim especially, we are a wrestling, role-playing, writing hobby for nerds. Cool nerds. We're kind of cool. We do okay. No, we're not. We're nerds. We are fucking nerds, mate. It's fun. If you like creative writing, you probably don't. This is what we do. So, how about we jump in to the show? Is everybody ready? Is role playing really the thing? So Joe says it's not nerd anymore. Role playing is the thing. I mean, maybe in the bedroom it's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? In the bedroom, role playing might be a thing. I'm not sure about it in the real world. Um, you know that. You know, you be the cop, she be the robber, vice versa. Guess a nigga work, right? Um, we got some ready eddies, and my glorious face in the rage mask. I'll be back on camera soon enough. I'm sure I'll scare the fucking shit out of a lot of you. We are kicking off the show now. To scroll down on this, you will have to bear with me. You're probably going to hear me read it before you see it because the way I've set the stream up here tonight is not the best. But it's what I could do. So we are kicking off the show with Lee Crowley and a segment called Deal with the Devil. So we have our click and our static covers the screen as play. The play symbol appears in the bottom right hand corner. That's an OSW classic, isn't it? We all know that one. In the bowels of the slaughterhouse, Lee Crowley sits on a makeshift throne, demons surrounding him for protection. Tonight, he faces off against Nightstick, but that seems furthest from his mind. The sound of something approaching can be heard in the distance, though we don't see what it is. As it approaches and finally stops, Crowley smiles like a Cheshire cat. I'm surprised you came, he admits, almost chuckling to himself. But I'm glad you did. Whoever stands before him doesn't say a word. I have a proposition for you, an opportunity, if you will. I need your help, and I can reward you handsomely for your efforts. Lucifer muses. He stands up, pacing now before us. But the contract we strike will be bound in blood. Failure to hold up your end of the contract will result in its termination. Why me? A gruff voice replies. No one has experience in these matters quite like you do, Crowley says with a snarl. That experience will be invaluable. Besides, wouldn't you simply love an opportunity to feel alive again? There's an eerie pause whilst the person debates their decision. You have until the end of tonight to solve my problem, the very problem I called you here to solve. You came, which means you have your reasons. Finish this, and I can make your dreams come true. Crowley clicks his fingers and is immediately delivered a scroll by a demon. He unravels it and tosses it at the feet of the person he's speaking to. Sign it in blood, Lee demands. Only then have you made a deal with the devil. And then we cut away. There we go. We're diving in big tonight. Our first segment, Lee Crowley, striking a deal with somebody interesting. Hey, Chris. Thank you very much, buddy. 11 months for you too, dude. That's epic. Yeah, I'm sure you've got some ideas that could be fun. We are now heading in to a match. Here we go, some of my amazing graphics. I hope you enjoy the graphics for the show tonight. Like I said, my stream is a bit on the small side, so you won't see the graphics in their full glory, but you can see them later on the forums, as you know. So it's Reaper versus Red Wing. Reaper on the left, Red Wing on the right. So these are our weekly show matches. They're 200 words, but I've asked the writers to spread them out a little bit so I can read them with at least a little bit of enthusiasm. We'll see how that goes. It's a standard match. The Reaper versus Red Wing. We've got some chat here. Darby Sorrow, I think, come into the mind of Zach. Troy come into the mind of Dawson Neptune by Dino. Sandman. There's lots of suggestions about who Lee Crowley could be talking to. Well, he's making a deal, folks, and I can guarantee you by the end of the night you'll find out exactly who made the deal. Can justice prevail when two vigilantes fight? Reaper goes in guns blazing against Red Wing, who puts his guard up. The Detroit native backs him into the corner with vengeful shots, then Shot puts him into the ropes. Spinebuster. The harvester snaps him in half, mounting him. He punches his knuckles raw and bloody against Red Wing's leather cowl. Reaper peels him off the mat and strong hands into the ropes once more. Sandbag. Red Wing avoids the Samoan drop, grabbing a headlock instead. Bulldog into the turnbuckle, the killing joke, but no. Crimson Justice powers Reaper into the air and hits a brainbuster into the knee, and the Reaper gets himself some red justice. The Gotham resident hooks a leg for a 1, a 2, and a kick out, and Reaper still has one in the chamber. The Watchful Protector pulls him up with a kick to the gut and a single-arm DDT, swift revenge by Red Wing, who serves him up cold. The 12-gauge forces him up to his feet and whips him across the ring. Justice brought, which is another Samoan drop. He lies back covering him. The 1, the 2, the 3, and a shoulder up, because heroes never die. Not quite in OSW though, folks. And Red Wing lives on. Sawn off Cox's wrist, then sinks to his haunches, punching the mat. He's calling for the end. The Watchful Protector slowly rises, then turns around, shotgun blast, Superman punch. No! Red Wing kicks Reaper's knee out from underneath him. He charges, darkness falls, curb stomp, he covers. 1, 2, 3, and Red Wing disarms the Reaper here tonight for the victory. And there, folks, is your winner of our first match of the evening. It is Red Wing. Congratulations, Chris. You won. Yeah, it's a problem, the smaller matches, because I can't get into that rhythm of reviewing them with the pace and the quickness and, the excitement, because obviously they're only 200 words. It happens so much quicker. So I'll try my best, but I'm not going to pretend that they will come out as good as pay-per-view. Join us next week for Mike Lane's Ring of Dreams, and you'll see the matches said in a real beautiful way with how long they are. They're, between 600 words and 2,000, I think. So You'll enjoy them. Hi, Grim. Surprised you're still here, buddy. Surprised you haven't bore off yet. And I was like, yeah, fuck this shit. The next segment is between Banzan on the left and Leif Helvig on the right. Look at those badass wolves behind him, man. Skull and Haiti. This segment's called The Breath of a Fish. So we're recorded earlier and we're continued from last week. Back inside the dirty dungeon from last week, and Banzan is sat around the table, opposite the man who believes he can help him. We come to learn a lot about Leif Helvig from this man, who seems to have a plan. This has to end in a fight, Banzan said abruptly, as if we'd come in halfway through a conversation. At Ring of Dreams, there won't be any other way. The man nods. I agree somewhat, but there will be more to it than that. When we realised that Leif had escaped our captivity, we immediately began searching for him and a way to stop him. He stands up, pulling the heavy chains off the table. The chain is big and bulky. The cuffs themselves are inches thick and round, with an old-fashioned locking mechanism. The man can barely hold them, that's how heavy they are. These are crafted using magic, made of the sound of a cat's footsteps, the beard of a woman, the breath of a fish, and numerous other elements. We sought a way to stop Leif Helvig, and bounding him with Fenrir's chain is the only way. I wonder how they got hold of Chris's mum's beard. That must have been difficult. Making fun on a segment I wrote. Still, the man nods and smiles. If you capture him, I will take him away and you'll never see him again. This is a win-win situation, Banzan. Bound him in the middle of that ring and he will lose his fight. I will then come and Leif Helvig will exist in old-school wrestling no more. Win-win? Banzan asks. It doesn't sound like much of a win for Leif. The man shrugs, sitting back down in his chair. If you dare to care about a monster who murdered your people, burned down your trees and tried to murder you, that is your prerogative. But if you want to survive, this is how you do it. And we cut, so Banzan has a massive decision to make. If he can defeat Leif Helvig at Ring of Dreams and potentially put those cuffs on him, Leif Helvig could be gone from OSW forever. So whilst he wants revenge, he has a decision to make for sure. We roll straight on into another segment called The Other Side of Betrayal 2. It's CXDY on the left and Albert Shaw on the right. Last week, blood. Concrete stained crimson. Having been dragged into an obscure location away from the prying eyes and ears of passers-by, Albert Shaw lies, beginning to stir. The back of his head wet with his own blood. Standing over him is CXDY with a steel pipe in hand. Morning, sunshine. CDX brings the steel pipe across Shaw's cheek, knocking the weary governor back to the ground again and opening a large gash underneath his eye that begins pouring down his face. He drops the pipe with a clang and slides it well out of reach of his foe. The chickens have come home to roost, Albert Shaw. All this time of riding on the coattails of others, using them as a stepping stone for your advantage. It stops now. I trusted you with my life, but you're nothing more than a backstabbing son of a bitch. Cody is seething. He fishes into his pocket for a moment before pulling out a large switchblade knife, flicking the blade open with an impending click, and a sadistic smile on his face. Now it's time to see how much you can bleed. CXDY lunges at Albie, driving the knife into his midsection and causing Shaw to scream in agony. As the blood forms on his shirt, Cody's smile only grows larger. That's right, asshole. Bleed. Cody lunges again, slicing at Shaw's throat, but Albie ducks away from the strike and disarms his crazed foe by kicking the blade out of his hand. It is the opening that he needs, knowing that sometimes to win the war, one must live to fight another day. Before Cody can react, the battered and broken Albert Shaw has escaped into the night. That's right, Albie. Run, Cody says. I'll drain the rest of your blood soon enough. And we cut. This one's getting violent, man. This one's getting violent, right? It's definitely interesting to see CXDY being more aggressive. It's definitely nice because obviously Albie Shaw has been the aggressor in this story and all stories. He's very, very dominant. To see Cody sort of turn the tables on him and be the aggressor is definitely an interesting tact. Our next match is 3-on-3. The Impaler, Monty Straight, Pyre versus Sweet Alice, Captain Jack Silver, and the Judge. Will dreams go up in flames? Will the balance be straightened out, or will piracy reign on the seven seas? Let's find out. The two juggernauts start us off, the Impaler and the Judge trading blows before the Order attempts the verdict. But the Dread Pirate has it telegraphed and ducks, connecting with a bicycle kick to the Judge. Monty Straight blind tags himself into the match. The host is quick to take advantage, nailing the deal breaker, but he doesn't cover. He instead tags in Pyre. The Fire Witch heads to the top rope. She waits for the Judge to rise. Dancing flames, no, Order counters by pushing Pyre across the ring. The Red Queen turns straight into the verdict, and Order tags in Sweet Alice. The Dreamer immediately starts to hop around the ring and lands a leg drop. She calls terribly late, then covers. 1, 2, no, the Impaler breaks the near fall. The Dread Pirate lifts Sweet Alice off the mat and lifts her into a military press, launching her over the top rope and out of the ring. Chaos takes over. Captain Silver tackles the Impaler to the mat and then gives him pieces of 8 to think about. A bunch of stomps right there on the canvas. Monty tries to catch him out with the terms and conditions, but Order counters with your past may bite you. And meanwhile, Pyre takes down Silver with a Hurricane Rana and he rolls out of the ring. Sweet Alice then gets back inside and catches Pyre from behind, down the rabbit hole. 1, 2, 3. Sweet Alice takes a psychological advantage over Pyre and gives her team the win. And the winners of this trios match are Sweet Alice, Captain Jack, and the Judge. Congratulations to PJ, Alex, and Robbie. Well won, boys. Yeah, bye-bye, Albie, indeed. Nice to see Captain Jack picking up some wins in a row now, sort of building himself some momentum. It's a shame that he's come in right at the end of the storyline cycle, but we'll be seeing enough of him next season, I'm sure. Next segment, as we roll on, is written in red. It is Death Note on the left and Simon on the right. Alex's ears have just perked up. Well, I say ears. Who knows with Alex? It could be anything that's perked up. We're in the modern day. Simon, the Taskmaster, apparently not the Taskmaster, because that's Greg Davies, as me and Matt both know, but the Taskmaster, the Untouchable, walked through one of his many warehouses, his trail gone well cold since Dead Pixels. Death Note could never find him, and history would always repeat itself. Or so he thinks. Sitting in the middle of the warehouse floor is a chessboard. The pieces in the exact same orientation they were all those years ago. The Queen's Gambit. Oh, you think you're funny, do you? He walks forward, confidently approaching the board, only to see a figure appear from the shadows opposite him. It's Death Note. This is no joke, Simon. It's a game, and it seems we're destined to play it for eternity. The author of Death takes a seat calmly at the table, and Simon wearily joins him, but not before expecting the chair for any traps. Do you wish to lose again, Death Note? I can happily show you how you lost, and I'm certain you'll still fall victim to the same old tricks. It's cocky. Then do it. Death Note leans back, arms folded as Simon eyes him. I do not sleep, I only search. You cannot escape death, Simon. Show me how you did it, if you're so sure of yourself. Certainly. Simon cockily reaches forward, grabbing the Queen. Slice. A pen nib shoots through Simon's hand. It traps him as his hand is pulled down onto the Queen. He writhes in agony as Death Note stands, chuckling. You and I are putting an end to this, Simon. Ring of Dreams. You and I are placed in a cage, and there'll be no escape from my wrath, no escape from the end of your story. Death Note dips a pen in Simon's bloody hand, scrawling something in his tome before tearing out the page, throwing it at him, and letting it fall in front of him as he decides to take his leave. Written in Simon's blood in front of him is a simple note. Simon, mauled at Ring of Dreams by Death Note. And we cut. Okay. And we're keeping things rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Say what? Rolling, rolling, rolling. Come on. Rolling, rolling, rolling. We are keeping it going, guys. We're moving on to a segment now with the Sandman on the left and Luke Storm on the right. It's the segment that is titled after the show, or the show after the segment. It's called Ring of Emotion. Luke Storm is stood by the grave of his brother, Edward Newton. He holds a bouquet of flowers in his hands. He looks over the gravesite, tears welling up in his eyes. Just then, the sound of the Sandman appearing disturbs him. This was a good one, Luke says arrogantly. A real good one. The Sandman chuckles. There's nothing like emotion to get the heart racing, is there, Lucas? He muses, stood beside the Tempest. I'd like to think you haven't been here since he died. I haven't wanted to, he admits. They remain silent for a moment. Will you visit Sandy's? He asks. Could you? Because if what I believe to be true is true when he dies, you'll die too. The Dream Demon looks at him. Do you even have emotion, Sandman? Storm queries. Do you love or hate? Or do you simply obey? Is Rogers your master? Is he your lord and savior? Enough! Sandman snaps. What do you want, Storm? Luke tosses the flowers onto the dream grave and turns around to face his enemy. They're now face to face, nose to nose. I want you fucking dead, you prick, he roars in reply, spitting as he does. A Ring of Dreams 7, I want you one-on-one in the middle of the ring. And then you'll return Sandy to me? He queries. Luke scoffs. No, I'm going to kill that asshole right in fucking front of you, he bellows angrily. Then why would I come? Sandman says with a shrug. Why would I allow that to happen? The Tempest chuckles slightly. Because you know that the only way you save him is if you're close enough to stop me. You'll show up, Sandman. If you don't, you never save your precious Sandy Rogers. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to wake up. The Sandman snaps his fingers, and with a simple click, Luke Storm awakes from his dream. Woo! Again, the tension now, it's getting there, isn't it? Luke Storm versus the Sandman, Ring of Dreams next week. Don't miss it. It's been building since Red fucking Snow when Sandman killed Edward Newton, Luke Storm's brother. It is going to be epic. He took his championship that night as well. Sandy Rogers' life appears to be on the line. And what does that mean for the Sandman? If Rogers does die, does the Sandman die too? It is... I literally said at the start, Joe, that the scrolling won't match the narration simply because the stream design is not great. So you're going to have to listen to me and read later. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about that. I wanted to have a bit of a better stream design today, and I used this one. Unfortunately, though, I can't change it so there's more of the writing on stream. So I don't know because I can only see it on my stream and I can see it here a bit, but not much. I don't know how far down to scroll either, so it's a pain in my ballsack. Moving on, we have Death Note versus CXDY. CXDY is a difficult name to say, isn't it? Standard match. You little flirt. I think we can all agree, Joe. If anybody's voice is beautiful, it is definitely yours, my friend. We all love a bit of strange conversations in this place, don't we? Hey, all love a bit of strange conversations. Go buy the fucking album, you bastards. I mean, the album's out. You should check it out. Fractured Minds. It's Fractured Minds, isn't it? I can't remember. It's been such a long time. Buy it anyway. Do it now. Chody. Fuck Chody. I'm not saying Chody. I'm not saying that shit. I'm not. I am not saying that. Well versed in striking, both men exchange furious blows. Not that kind, don't get excited. Cody edges Death Note. Not that kind, don't get excited. However, with a flurry which ends in a roundhouse and a single leg dropkick, perfect rush. Softening Death Note up. Second to none snags him with a Northern Light suplex. The brainbuster is imminent even. Instant replay. Cody covers. 1, 2, kick out. Death Note hasn't penned his final chapter. Cody takes to the top rope. Carpe Omnia, diving double foot stomp, but no, Death Note rolls out of the harm's way. Cody rolls back onto his feet. He's athletic, big in Japan. No, Death Note ducks the lariat as well. He hoists Cody up into the go to sleep. Gather thy soul. Chloe collapses on the mat, and the author of Death even heads to the corner. Kiss of Death. Death Note's own double foot stomp, and he covers. 1, 2, 2.9. Even Cody's kickouts are perfect. The god of the new world heaves him up. It's a dying wish. It's the burning Hava. Denied. Cody drops down. Death Note meets your foretold motherfucking destiny. The 450 Roundhouse, a tribute to the Tyler Brooks, rocks Death Note. Cody scoops him up in a fireman's carry, then rolls forwards with him. Dumble jump moonsault, perfectly executed. Nobody home. Death Note avoids the final destination. The scribe meets him back in the middle of the ring. Turn the page. Sister Abigail. He makes the cover. 1, 2, 3. Death Note picks up the win in what is surely the best match of the night so far. I think I spoke so many goddamn words wrong in that match, even I confused myself, but there you go. Not professional, man. Nobody pays me for this. No. Moving on. Art of the Deal. Beg. Berkshire Ellison Green, for those who don't know. And Nigel Royal. It's fucking Nigel Royal, mate. Yeah, he's the governor. Loud voices are heard shouting behind a closed door. We can barely make out what each is being said as we near it. The door opens to a business room-like setting. Beg and Royal sitting at two different sides of a large table, surrounded by their lawyers and legal teams. You fucking asshole. I came here for a deal. I came here to settle these issues between us so we can each move forward, Beg says as he throws stacks of paper in a rage. Fuck you and your contracts. You've been after me since you returned, trying to buy me out. I should kick your fucking ass right now. Nigel sits back and laughs. The mood's settling now as they stop yelling over one another. You absolute peasant cunt. You cost me a lot of money, and you expect me to take it lying down? You're an idiot if you think that was ever possible. So, what do you propose? By the way, you absolute peasant cunt is a brilliant line. If I had a book of quotes, it would go in it. You absolute peasant cunt. Brilliant. One of Nigel's lawyers collects the papers that Beg had tossed across the room in his rage. He neatens the stack before handing it back to Nigel. Old school wrestling is not big enough for the two of us. There is no way I'd lower myself to work in a company that employs a piece of shit like you. Beg sits back, an annoyed look on his face. Then get up and leave. You're the asshole who came back for no other reason to fuck with my plans. So, there's the door. Let the handle get rammed up your ass like your lawyer buddies here do to pass the time. Cute. But no, Royal says. At Ring of Dreams, I run you out of OSW for good. No more money, no more anonymous bullshit to get yourself back in. Loser leaves OSW for good. A slight grin crosses Beg's face as he considers his offer. Not for the first time, he was offered this, if you recall, at Dead Pixels. So, to ensure you don't even try to buy your way back in, the winner buys out the other. Complete asset forfeiture. Every account, every shell company, everything goes to the winner of this match. Got tired of trying to hack in and do a hostile takeover? Nigel grins. This isn't a hostile takeover, but I'm a fair businessman. I knew you wouldn't take the deal if I put anything of my own on the line. It's the art of the deal. I want to run you out. I'm sure you wish to run me out, so why play games for months on end? You've got yourself a deal, Royal, Beg says. Nigel slides over the stack of papers his lawyer collected. My signature is already affixed to the contract. All that's needed is yours. I'm sure your lawyers will see that everything is as it should be. One of the few suits Beg managed to retain after the attempted takeover from a few weeks back quickly thumbs through the paperwork and whispers in his ear, I can't wait to watch your ass get the fuck out of here, Nigel. Your short time back has already damaged future prospects. Beg signs the contract. As for tonight, I'll see you out there, partner. And we cut. So, yeah, pretty much segment has reiterated what was offered at Dead Pixels. Nigel said, loser leaves. Everything I put on the line versus everything you put on the line is essentially what was said in that segment, reiterated for you, so you know what's at stake. Next week, The loser, Royal or Beg, will leave OSW a very poor and broken man. There is no coming back from that. That leads us into the tag team match between Beg and Royal versus Roberts and Two-Face. I have no idea how these two tag teams are going to get along at all. Surely with great difficulty. Money, madness, and manipulation provide the recipe for certain mayhem in this tag team contest. Beg and Two-Face start the match, the two old foes locking up. Two-Face driving the billionaire into a corner and pummeling him with a shot to the face. For those of you who don't remember, Two-Face and Beg arch enemies when Two-Face was Owen Whitlock. Beg, with the anonymous conspiracy, could have driven Whitlock to the very, very edge. It's the oldest rivalry in Volume 2 and probably one of the most popular, most ongoing rivalries in some way to have this match now. So Beg gets the advantage and then a chop block to deaden Two-Face's leg, followed by a bulldog, which he calls Chip, off the old block. Into the cover. 1, 2, and a rope break. 2 seconds. Viper puts Two-Face's foot on the ropes to break the fall. Beg drags the split into a vertical base. He tries to lock in the $1 billion dream, but Two-Face fights out of it with back elbows and then tags in Viper Roberts. The head snake slithers into the ring, grabbing Beg and drills him into the mat with the ode to the snake. The Viper peels off his leather belt and begins tanning the hide, but no, Nigel Royal intervenes, surprisingly. The Bloodline grabs Viper and drills him with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 belly-to-back suplexes. That's the Royal Flush, baby. We love some of that. The Englishman drags Beg onto the body of Viper Roberts. 1, Two-Face flips their coin. 2, it lands. They smile and drop off the apron, leaving Roberts to his fate. 3, shoulder up. Oh, observing the twist of fate, Two-Face flips their coin again, and this time it lands and they climb back onto the ring apron, drawing the attention of Royal and the referee. Inside the ring, Viper lows blow green, then comes to the snake bite. Royal tumbles out of the ring with Two-Face as the referee counts. 1, 2, 3. The shares continue to plummet for Beg and Royal as Viper Roberts and Two-Face take home the spoils in this tag team match. And by God, Two-Face could have easily have walked away right there and then. I'm calling it so far, guys. The best match of the night so far has been Cody versus Death Note. I don't think many of you disagree. How are we sat on that, guys? You think that's the best match of the night so far? Any notions to the contrary? Definitely for me, the best written match of the night. I enjoyed that one thoroughly. But there's loads of matches to come. So we will soon see what happens. Here we go with a segment entitled Dewey Ate My Neighbours. An interesting segment title, that's for sure. Were previously recorded. Tightly squeezed into a pickup truck, the Forever Friends and Stoner are on their way to a dire situation. I think it's fair to say by now that Stoner has indeed joined the Forever Friends. He is definitely in that stable. They are friends. I think he's taken a decent central role in that. They stayed silent as they tried to think up a strategy, dreading the thought of what could happen as they finally approached the mall. When they reach it, before their very eyes is chaos. More specifically, Sherman Dewey, or, what's left of him. Left in his wake are people injured, even bloodied, but none dead, much to their relief as they pull up. Alright, boys, time to put us down a zombie. Stoner leaps out of the truck, grabbing a shotgun from the bed as Chunky and Miles shuffle out of the other side. They reach onto the bed themselves, grabbing a pickaxe and a shovel. Sorry, fellas. Only had one gun on me back home. The humour of the situation is soon undercut by a harsh realization. One that leaves Stoner in a look of dismay as the friends turn to see Sherman running right at them, shoving moviegoers out of his way in the process. The son of a bitch isn't a Romero. Stoner quickly aims his shotgun, but his compatriots block the shot as Chunky lunges at Sherman with a shovel, only to be tossed aside with ease. This leaves an opening for Miles to attack as he swings the pickaxe, and Sherman reaches to grab the magic man for a meal. Boom! Dewey is taken back by a shotgun blast to his shoulder. He's reeling back as he looks up at Stoner with a snarl. Boom! Another blast manages to bring the corpse down as Miles and Stoner rush to help Chunky up, only for Dewey to take another swipe at Stoner, leaving a gash on his leg. They hobble back to the truck, speeding off as they see Dewey catching up before Stoner puts the pedal to the metal. The resulting screech gives a small sense of relief as they finally start to gain some distance, affording them enough time to regroup mentally. Okay, so why was Sherman at the mall? Stoner's inquiry is met with a silence at first before Chunky reluctantly offers a clue. We used to move. We used to love playing in the arcade. The best game there was Graveyard Smash. The last sentence gives Stoner an idea. Holy shit, the graveyard. We gotta try to stop him at the graveyard. Literally, put him back into the ground. But how? Stoner glances over at Miles, having just a slight idea of where to start. We gotta lure him back where he belongs. Stoner shakes his head, unsure of what the plan entails as they drive off to the graveyard. After what feels like forever, they make it back to the graveyard, the trio still dealing with the injuries sustained as they make their way towards Ultimo's gravesite. Well, fellas, here goes nothing. Truer words have never been spoken, as they can hear the growls of Sherman Dewey getting closer, and this is going to end at the graveyard. Can they put Sherman Dewey back in the ground and end this absolute fucking nightmare? You never know. Stranger things have happened in OSW. Let's have a look at what people are saying in the chat. Yeah, I'm not sure. We haven't really got into that. I think Sherman Dewey is a zombified creature in that he was brought back from the dead by the swamp witch using voodoo magic. So I don't think he's a zombie in the sense of he's eating people. I think he's more a zombie in the sense that he is alive when he should be dead. I think that's pretty much how that plays out. Yeah, so it's not normal virus-based zombie; it's the voodoo zombie. So yeah, he's not out there to purposely kill anybody else, but he does want revenge on them for resurrecting him in the first place. Yeah, and the thing is the Forever Friends that have cursed him. So the Forever Friends, in their desperation to bring their friend back, brought back a terrible version of their friend who hates that fact. So I kind of feel for Sherman in a way, because Sherman never asked to get brought back. He's been brought back, and he's now suffering because of it. It's a great story from start to finish, because you never. A lot of times you probably don't look at the other side of it. You just look at the good guys. You know, obviously the Forever Friends are the good guys. But Stoner, really, not Stoner. I feel sorry for Dewey because he never asked to come back. He never asked to be a zombie. He was dead. He was in peace. He sacrificed himself. You know, he died. So reminds me what it's in Supernatural. What's dead should stay dead, and you know what comes back isn't always the same. So, so preparation for war, part 1. Sweet Alice is sitting in the White Queen's dining hall. With her are a few friends she has left in this world: the Cheshire Cat, the Caterpillar, and the White Rabbit that led her all those years ago. Alice begins to speak. You've all been so elusive, but today you all came to me. Why is that? I called for them, dear. The White Queen enters the room and continues to speak. My sister has learned that your friends are more important to you than even yourself. Half the wonder you found in this place was in them. She also knows the connection you have here is entwined with the connection you have to your sanity. I wanted to get you fully prepared and fully connected to this world. If you're going to fight... Sorry, 2 seconds. Damn. Got a clicking going on in my ear as I talk. It's very frustrating. If you're going to fight for all of us, I'm going to give you every reason to fight. So I'm going to let them speak. The White Rabbit begins. When we met, all I could say was I'm late, but the truth is I was right on time. If I wasn't late, you'd have never seen me. You'd never have followed me and came into this world. We never had the chance to be free from her tyranny or live like we used to, Alice. I might have been late for an important date, but I was right on time for a date with destiny. Do this for us, Alice. The Cheshire Cat's turn is next. We're all mad here, Alice, but that's what you love about this place, and seeing how you loved it gave us reason to love it again. You freed a lot of us simply with your presence. Now free us with your might. And finally, the caterpillar speaks. We've all lost a lot of loved ones due to her, and so have you, but the pain you have felt and the things you have learned will give you the strength you need. You've learned from men even more wise than me. Now be the boulder he saw and the one we need. Tears well up in Alice's eyes as the White Queen speaks. I see I've got you emotionally fired up, but you'll need more than that. You'll need backup because we all know she's going to bring some. You'll have my guards like she'll have hers. You'll also have my knight, and when I don't have any knave, you'll have my bishop instead. All is fair in love and war, and this is a war we must win. Do you understand me? Alice nods, determined, and the queen continues. Good. It's time to make you a queen. Alice nods and marches away. She's flanked by the White Knight and the Bishop. They're followed by the legion of guards as Alice waves goodbye to her friends who are cheering for her. She knows she's their last hope, and she walks with great purpose towards Pyre's Red Keep. Could be. Not a bad shout. Could Dewey be the one that made the deal? You never know. We are moving on to a match. It's Stoner versus Mr. Andy. I will apologise in advance for the poor placement of the segment, potentially. I'm going to have to go check that quickly because that's going to bug me. Previously recorded. Nope, previously recorded, we're good. I definitely prefer previously recorded to happen if they can after their matches. I don't like them before, but before does work if you're out of options. So, we're good. Right. They both had their issues to resolve, but there'll be no sparing of a peace pipe when these two collide in the slaughterhouse. Stoner is puffing away in the middle. He puts a sympathetic arm on Mr. Andy's shoulder and offers him a toke. A puff to make all the toy maker's problems melt away. Andy declines the invitation by punching the Stoner in the face. It sounds like a good way to say fuck off. Stoner turns away, and Mr. Andy hits the catastrophic Carlider cacophony. Thank you for making me say that. No recover from the toy maker, though, and instead he continues his attack on Stoner. By an attempted Irish whip, countered with the ripcord back elbow. The toker is off the ropes and hits a drop kick of doom. No, gore. Mr. Andy almost breaks Stoner in half with a huge spine buster to follow, and he calls that the superfine turbo blast. Mr. Andy climbs to the top rope. Flight of the Ornithopter, knees up by Stoner, then the drop kick of doom as Mr. Andy rises, cover for 1, 2, kick out. Now Stoner decides to take the aerial route. Shooting star press. Mr. Andy catches Stoner. Samoan drop. No. Stoner counters with the spanker danker pickle. The automatic connects. He hooks the legs. 1, 2, shoulder up. There's a grimace on Stoner's face. It is determination, or is it withdrawal symptoms? He lifts the toy maker up, or he tries to double knee face breaker, and he covers. 1, 2, 3. No. Kick out. As Mr. Andy tries to lift Stoner, he's dragged down into an inside cradle. Instead, the toy maker uses the momentum to roll through and hold Stoner's shoulders down. 1, 2, 3. The toy maker proves that necessity is the mother of invention inside the slaughterhouse tonight. And by God, Mr. Andy is the winner, heading into Ring of Dreams 7. Yeah, there's some pretty cool names in there. We are moving swiftly on to a segment called From the Shadows between the Williamses. In the ring, Jesse Williams stands, microphone in hand. You love a good old-fashioned in-ring segment. I love that. For my whole life, it's felt like I've lived it through a filter. The world has always seemed a little darker for me than for other people my age. I've always wondered why that was, until recently. Now I can see that this filter was just a shadow. The shadow that my dad has cast over me for as long as I can remember. It started off as a comfort blanket. It let me know he was there, watching, guiding me. I was glad for it, but the shadow became darker and reflected on his state of mind. The comfort blanket started to smother me, and if that's not a cracking promo idea, it's a shame really that it's not a competitive match, because the comfort blanket would be a brilliant roleplay idea. He's done some truly awful things, but he's my father. I had to forgive him. And the shadow swelled in size each time I did. It's only now that I realise that his shadow has blocked the sun from my life. I am stunted because of his past. But that past is not mine, and I shouldn't be expected to carry it with me as he does. Just then, Ash appears at the top of the stage. Jesse, son, he growls. We've had our issues, but just like any family, let's go home. Let's talk through there. I know I called you naive, but that is something we can change. With just a little more training, you might be ready to. No, Jesse replies, his eyes stern but misty. I can't do it. Not anymore. I don't need any more training. I'm ready to thrive now. He shakes his head and looks up with a sadness that only family issues can bring. But to thrive, I need sunlight. I need the shadow to go away. I need you to leave this place. I can't have you in OSW anymore. He drops the microphone and exits the ring, barely looking Ash in the eye as he passes him into the backstage area. This is going to be a one hell of a fight, guys. I mean, you're looking at a situation now where Jesse needs Ash to go. He needs to be his own man, and Ash wants to take him home because he doesn't think he's ready. So, Ring of Dreams 7. Father versus son. Ash Williams versus Jesse Williams. Who's going to win? Will Jesse go home? Or will Ash leave OSW once and for all to let his own son create his own destiny? It's going to be a great match. Yeah, I think the problem is, I think you have to sort of forgive Ash for that, because Jesse, I don't want to say he hasn't proven himself capable, but in terms of winning matches, and this is no offense to Zach, he's not done a great deal in terms of winning matches to be successful. And when it comes to the Sandman, he did save his dad, which is an impressive feat, but he lost people along the way. And obviously, Ash is someone who has fought the evil dead in battles like that for a very long time. So in Ash's mind, he doesn't think his son's ready. He doesn't think his son's ready to go it alone. He thinks he needs more training, needs more time, needs more help. And he's also, you have to think, afraid for his son's life. He's gone through such torment at the hands of the Sandman that he was willing to make a deal with someone evil, Sandy Rogers and the Sandman, to protect his son. He clearly thinks his son needs his help. It's definitely layered. And you know, you could go into the match, and you could, in theory, be disappointed in Ash's behaviour. I think that's a reasonable thing. But at the same time, as a father, happy Father's Day, by the way, to all the British dads watching here tonight. Happy Father's Day to all of you. It's, you do anything for your kids. You would do anything for your kids, and Ash just wants to make sure his son is safe. He might not be going about it the right way, but as parents, we don't we don't always do things the right way or the best way. We do it the best way we can. Moving into another segment, it's Hell to Pay, and we're in the boiler room, the very place where Heaven made its first move just 1 week ago. This time, however, Nightstick and Solvig are sleeping, and their bodies are in quite precarious situations. With the two angels hanging from the ceiling, rope wrapped around their ankles, it appears the tables have turned. Water, Crowley's voice says. Splash. Solvig and Nightstick wake up screaming. It was boiling water that splashed them. Quit your bitching, Nocturne says, and send a boot directly to Nightstick's teeth. I'm shocked, Crowley admits. Truly shocked. I thought for sure that Heaven's Own would never make the first strike, but I was mistaken. It seems things are done differently than when I was cast out so long ago. That's not Crowley, that's Lucifer. How do we end up here, Solvig asks, almost to no one, wondering aloud, as you do. Come on, Lucifer says. I'm the most powerful entity in the slaughterhouse. The things I can do, well, let's just say you fucked with the wrong ones last week. Nightstick, trained in the art of the right to remain silent, says nothing. And Solvig stammers, but the words can't be found. Knife, Lucifer says, holding his hand out towards Nocturne. Nocturne produces for Lucifer a small pocket knife. I'm sure you're both wondering as you dangle from the ceiling, why oh why would Lucy himself need a pocket knife? He kneels down, slaps Nightstick in the face, and smiles wide. I'm going to flay the skin from your bodies. Solvig and Nightstick's eyes widen, but they bravely express no concern otherwise. I know. Your heavily skins will grow back, but maybe I'll decide to remove it again. After all, given last week, the two of you have hell to pay. Brutal segment there. Brutal segment. We have Lee Crowley flaying some skin off some bitches. Moving into a match. We have the VHS champion Zero versus Sigil, and Zero is on a very good run of results recently. Sigil on a likewise good run of results. Is a standard match. Can the hacker crack the portals? These two team up at Ring of Dreams 7 to take on Darby Sorrow and Voynich, but tonight they face off first. Sigil strikes first, utilizing his height and weight advantage. He backs Zero into the ropes with debilitating blows, then sends him across the ring. Bionic can't stand by Zero. Sigil charges into a head scissor takedown. The Round Walker races straight back to his feet, only to eat a firewall clothesline that drops him to the canvas. Zero covers 1, 2, kick out. Sigil will continue to walk this path. The hacker pulls him up. Sigil wraps him up in a calf crusher. Zero writhes on wounded legs. Betty wishes he has a bionic leg to go with that arm of his, but the official slides in to ask him if he wants to quit, and the cyberpunk says no. Fuck no. He's too far away from the ropes, though, so he grabs Sigil's mask. That augmented hand might just remove it, but Sigil releases the hold to stop that from happening. Zero hobbles back to his feet as Sigil adjusts his mask. Goozle by Zero. Absolute Zero chokeslam. No. Sigil cuts him off with a melee combo for the collection. Zero staggers back. Sigil bends his back over his knee. Elbow. It's a long road ahead for Zero. 1, 2, shoulder up, and Zero hasn't crashed yet. They both scramble to their feet. The end is surely near. Cosmic leap by Sigil. The portal opens behind Zero. Planeswalker dropkick. Zero flips through the air. Sigil into the cover. 1, 2, 3. Sigil reboots Zero and defeats his tag team partner 1 week before Ring of Dreams 7. Another great match. Might just take my favourite match of the night now, that one. I would say that's my favourite match of the night so far. Sigil versus Zero, or Zero versus Sigil as it was. Brilliant match. Definitely my match of the night so far. Let's roll on. We are definitely over the halfway point in the show. Bear in mind, coming up, we have Luke Storm and Banzan. We have an epic main event of Lee Crowley versus Nightstick, and there must be another segment to come before that happens, because obviously, last time we see Lee Crowley and Nightstick, they're filleting skin, so there's got to be another segment to get us to the match. We also have, if I'm correct, we have Corvus in action. We have Albie Shaw and Voynich as well to come here tonight. And very soon, it won't be long now, we have the reveal of the Season 5 weekly show name. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. You will surely be hype. You will certainly be tapping your heads to say, I never thought of that. But it will be a banger. Sandman versus Jesse as well. That'll be a brilliant match. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember who is facing. There's a fucking 11 matches on this card, Alex. Shut up. We are gonna move into the next segment now. It's called Closing In. It's Molly Straight, the Judge, and the Reaper. We've been through so much here on the show that never ends, haven't we? As we close in on the season finale, how about we look back on all the fun we've had? Oh, okay, this is interesting. Once again, appearing out of thin air as Monty's stage, and upon it, Reaper and the Judge, his most beloved contestants. He motions out to the crowd with a smile and a wink, but the crowd is no longer the invisible crowd we know and love. No, it's filled with many people. Damned souls who's lost their lives in Monty's show. Khalil Longfellow, the Ripper, and Reaper's wife. All of them cheering against their own will as Reaper and the Judge look on at this sick parade. I know that recap shows are a cop-out, so let's have some fun with it, shall we? The Reaper and Judge rush towards Monty, but the show host takes off, his entire stage turning as though on a wheel. We come across many scenes from the past as Monty is chased past them in a futile effort at capture by Reaper and Judge. The Ripper's death upon Monty's debut, Mr. Andy seeing Seesaw behind the door, Longfellow giving his life for the library, Reaper's wife making her choice. And every single time, Reaper and Judge set foot on his show. Each one blurs by faster and faster until Monty leaps and stomps the stage. Reaper and Judge slam into the floor in a heap. They struggle to stand, but the chains shoot from the audience, pulling them back to their seats. Are you ready to join the audience when you make your final choice, boys? Get ready for one heck of a finale. The Judge swings his axe, cleaving the seat in two. Reaper fires off shots from his shotgun and turns the chair to confetti. As the chairs disappear, so does the stage, the audience, and Monty Straight, leaving Judge and Reaper staring at one another, awestruck by what just occurred. Holy shit, we are in for a fucking awesome triple threat match at Ring of Dreams 7. Monty Straight, the Reaper, and the Judge. The universal balance was upset when Monty unfortunately allowed Reaper's wife to sacrifice her life for his in an event that the Judge did not sanction for balance. It is going to be an epic match. Who knows the outcome of this incredible story? The Reaper is desperate for vengeance. Monty Straight took his wife. The Judge is desperate to restore balance after Monty Straight did something he should not have done. And Monty Straight, ever the game show host, just wants to host one hell of a season finale, and you know it's going to be exactly that. Exactly that at Ring of Dreams. Our next segment is called Forked Tongue, and it is Viper Roberts and Two-Face who teamed up earlier tonight to just about successfully defeat Nigel, Royal, and Beg. Sat upon a snakeskin recliner, we find one of Viper Roberts' snakes. His eyes are opened wide, his mouth quivering in fear. In fear of what? The lead pipe resting up against his neck. That's what. Held there by none other than Two-Face. Don't make us ask you twice, the fractured growls. All around the pair are downed bodies in pools of blood. Arms have been broken, skulls have been shattered. Two-Face is on a warpath. It don't work like that, the frightened man rushes out. I don't. Two-Face raises the pipe up, and the man finally cracks. I'll do it, he shrieks, his eyes welling up. The man reaches into his pocket and pulls out his cell phone. He dials a number and waits. Put it on speaker, Two-Face asks menacingly. He acquiesces, letting us hear the ringer go off. Once, twice, until someone picks up. Hello, Whitlock. It's Viper Roberts. I'm sorry, the snake says, barely able to keep it together. Fear is the weapon of the fearful, Roberts replies. That's why Two-Face is there and not here. They want to make me afraid of them. You're already afraid, Two-Face cuts in, yelling at the phone. You're afraid we'll destroy your den of snakes. A moment of silence before the head snake replies. I've learned much of who you've become over the last couple of months, but I never once doubted the two of you to be capable of this. But this ain't a battle of brawn, and I ain't brought about the big guns yet. I'll see you at Ring of Dreams. The phone screen lights up to indicate Roberts has hung up. Two-Face knocks the phone out of the snake's hand, holding up his coin to the light. Heads you live. He flips it into the air. You know the rest. And we cut. Woo! Tasty match. So, for those of you who need a refresher, Alton Whitlock survived Beg, got rid of anonymous left at Red Snow and somebody blew his limousine up. It was revealed at Dead Pixels that Viper Roberts was responsible for blowing that limousine up. He tried to recruit Two-Face or Alton Whitlock as one of his stooges, and it didn't quite work out for him. I really like the "you know the rest, head you live, you know the rest." I like that. It sounds like something he'd say. That's going to be another cracking match. Roberts and Two-Face, a great story, and I'm sure there's a lot more to come. And that Ring of Dreams will not see the end, but only the beginning of this epic feud. Here we go. It's Corvus versus the other guy no one cares about. It's Simon versus Corvus here on Fury. Yep, this is a great go home show. Not only is it the go ho show, God, it's not Chris's mum. It's not the go home show. It is also the penultimate episode of season 4 and the final Fury. So let's get some go ho on, shall we? Corvus is an unseen blade, one of the world's most talented killers. But can the Taskmaster see him coming? The match begins and Simon rushes Corvus. Corvus goes to dodge the strike, but Simon catches him with a massive hip toss once he's caught off guard. He rolls forward into a sleeper slam. Simon holds on for a sleeper hold and has the upper hand, but Corvus slips out. Pele kick to Simon's nose. The Taskmaster stumbles back and gets nailed with a murder of blows. Uppercut, palm strike, elbow. Simon is down. Corvus hits the ropes. Springboard shooting star press flattens Simon and he covers. 1, 2, 3, no. Corvus starts convulsing. Convulsing? Huh, I read that wrong. No, Corvus starts convulsing and Simon pushes him off. The referee checks on Corvus and Simon makes distance and the crowd watches him throw a taser to ringside, that cheeky bugger. Corvus tries to get back to his feet as the referee backs away, but Simon is on him. Simon Plex, Fisherman suplex to the shadow. Andy Bridges, 1, 2, 3, no. Kick out at the last second. Corvus is still in this match. Simon gets to his feet and looks back, but Corvus is gone, seemingly into thin air. He looks around in confusion when Corvus leaps on his back. The garrote, the rear naked choke. Simon fights for his life, but Corvus clinches as hard as he can, and the Taskmaster passes out. He doesn't tap, he passes out, and Corvus lets go of the hold and rolls out of the ring to regain consciousness. Your winner here tonight, folks, is Corvus. Unfortunately, Alex, unlucky, my friend. Good effort. Would say congratulations to Jordan, but I don't think he's here. We're rolling on, folks. We are rolling on, and here we go with a segment. It's Mr. Andy. It is Rune, and it is ominously titled Toy Box 2. The Toy Box. Last week, Rune demanded that Mr. Andy face him right here in this terrifying structure. The same terrifying structure that had taken the lives of Kenny Freeman, Marvolo 2, Freight Train Ferguson, and Foe Newton. You'd expect to see Mr. Andy turning the door handle to enter, only it isn't him. It's Rune. The Glitch steps inside and looks at the rotting corpses that Seesaw once called toys, holding his nose to survive the rancid and putrid smell. The den of a madman, Rune mumbles to himself as he takes a look at the toys that surround him. It was, Andy replies. Mr. Andy is here after all. He's now stood behind Rune inside the toy box. He looks sheepish and unconvinced. He doesn't want to be there. I came, he says bravely. I didn't want to, but I came. Rune claps sarcastically. I'm all out of medals, princess, he says, being an asshole. But I'm glad you decided to stop being a pussy and fight me. First, I want to know why. Why are you doing this to me? Andy questions. I just finished proving myself to Red Wing. Why now? The Glitch laughs, shrugging his shoulders. You're the biggest conspiracy in old school wrestling, Rune announces. Everyone knows it. You're Seesaw, masquerading as polite shopkeeper, but I know differently. Red Wing did what he could in his limited arsenal to prove that you're a danger to us all, but I have a much less limited arsenal. Mr. Andy takes off his glasses and places them down on the side. So, this is what you asked? This is what you want? He asks politely. You want to fight me? Inside the toy box. Rune nods. Then so be it. Both men rush towards each other, and we are to be continued at Ring of Dreams 7 inside the fucking toy box. Let's recap the toy box. Everyone who has ever entered the toy box has not only gotten their fucking heads kicked in, but has died. Nobody has ever survived the toy box. If you step into it, you die. Now, that was when he was Seesaw. This is Mr. Andy. What happens now? Can Rune be the first man to survive the toy box at Ring of Dreams? Or will Mr. Andy, reluctantly or not, add Rune to his collection? We will find out. Dr. DeVille was missed off the list of people that have died inside the toy box. It also should go without saying that Seesaw, when he was in the toy box, has never lost a toy box match. Can Mr. Andy hold himself to that standard? We will see. Another huge match. It is Luke Storm versus Banzan. Luke Storm goes on to Ring of Dreams 7 to face Voynich in the main event for the OSW World Heavyweight Championship. But Banzan in recent months has had the number of Luke Storm. This should be an interesting singles match. Will lightning strike the mountain peak? Let's find out. Luke Storm bolts towards Banzan. He ducks a martial arts strike, leaping onto the monk's back with a sleeper hold. Banzan stumbles forward, quickly turning purple. He reaches over his shoulders, but Tempest keeps his head low. The super heavyweight is fading. He backs up, pancaking Storm into the corner. Marching forwards, he grabs Luke and snapmares him to the mat. Category 5 fights his way up. Banzan charges. Storm evades the bull elephant. Indestructible mountain runs sternum first into the corner. He staggers back. Lightning strike misses. Banzan diverts a super kick. And Duka suffering exists. Banzan folds Luke in half with a Sato suplex. He covers him. 1, 2... kick out. The Storm rages on. Banzan yanks him up. He sends him into the corner with authority. Luke runs up the turnbuckle. Moonsault, Thunder, caught. Banzan has Storm on his shoulders. Luke drops down. Downpour Codebreaker, and Storm floors Banzan. He covers 1, 2, but Banzan presses him off right into the air. Luke stomps his foot in the corner, gathering momentum as Banzan recovers. Lightning strike. The super kick sends the Spirituals reeling into the ropes. Gale Force, Tiger Claw. The 5-point palm strike cuts off the stunner. Storm falls to one knee. Maga, Kinsasha. Banzan covers. Does he still have Storm's number? 1, 2, 3. Banzan proves himself indestructible and defeats Luke Storm once again. Brilliant match. A big win for Banzan. Big win for Banzan. Luke Storm's been picking up momentum from Pandemonium to Ring of Dreams. He's been picking up momentum, and Banzan definitely checks him at the door before the biggest match of his career to date. Huge win by Banzan. If Luke Storm manages to overcome Voynich and break the curse at Ring of Dreams, then Banzan would surely be somewhere in for a shout at an opportunity. We now head on for another segment called Preparation for War Part 2. We are picking up with Alice earlier this evening marching towards the Red Keep. Sapphire is walking around the castle, observing every trap and smiling when a wicked idea comes to mind. She motions the Red Knight over and the Knave, and then she begins to speak. Boys, you've outdone yourself with this castle. Even if the walls were taken down and the light was piercing through, it would still be the darkest, most sinister part of Wonderland. Well, second most. First place is always going to be my mind, she says with a smile. That's why I let you work on the castle, whilst I worked on my own traps. Come with me. They follow her down the hall to a room she has told them to stay out of. Ready to see my secret, she says. The men nod nervously in anticipation. Their eyes open wide and their jaws drop to the floor when Pyre opens the door and reveals a room that is filled with stuff of Alice's nightmares. The Knave speaks up. Is this what I think it is? Pyre laughs. Of course it is. I can throw tea parties too. I even brought a guest that will be here to make her feel more welcome. The Knight interjects. How will you get her to go into this horrific room? Pia replies, that's the best part. That's where the throne will be moved to, so she has to see the work I put into this. It was a true labour of hate, and she will feel all of it the moment she sees it. The knight nods and replies, understood. Anything else we need to do? Not today. Just make sure the guest is here by Ring of Dreams. Gladly. Any special requests? Make sure she has 2 spots reserved. The knight chuckles and the knave laughs hysterically. The queen hushes them and speaks. They're preparing for war when they should be preparing for hell. And I can't wait to make sure we give them both. Now take some inspiration from what I created, do the last minute touches, and make sure she never wants to come back, let alone rule this place. They nod and all 3 go in separate directions, making sure Alice's nightmare becomes a reality. Throne match is definitely going to be fucked up. It is a huge match now, folks. It's Albie Shaw, the double feature champion, versus Voynich, the OSW world champion. It's champion versus champion. It's non-title. It's a huge match before we head to Ring of Dreams. It could go either way. Both guys are on very, very impressive runs in most recent weeks. Although Shaw did pick up a loss to 0 last week. A rising bullet speeds towards the path of a speeding world champion. Can the governor pick up his biggest win yet, or will he just be a statement of Voynich before the biggest title match of his career? The bell sounds as Albert Shaw rushes forward, nailing an unsuspecting Voynich with a flurry of left and rights before picking him up onto his shoulder, rushing forward, planting Voynich into the mat with a hard power slam. Voynich is rocked as Shaw mounts him, trying for a series of devastating elbows, but Voynich manages a stiff headbutt before slipping out. Voynich nails a rising Shaw with a kick to the face before rolling back, bouncing off the rope. Ishtar's Gate. The running lariat hits hard. Shaw staggering into the ropes as he bounces off into a kick to the gut. Monolith, no. Shaw slips out, drilling Voynich with a hard neck breaker as he comes back down. Shaw backs up, waiting for Voynich to get to his feet before rushing forward. Shotgun drop kick. Voynich goes flying into the corner, his back getting driven into the steel buckles. Shaw barely lets Voynich get to his feet before he rushes forward. Avalanche. No, Voynich just moves out of the way as Shaw hits steel, but Voynich is already on him, grabbing him by the back of the head before leaping forward. The 8th wonder, slice bread number 2, he covers. 1, 2, 3, and Voynich picks up another huge victory on his way to defending his championship at Ring of Dreams. Your winner here tonight is Voynich over a very game Albert Shaw. Big win heading into the biggest match of Voynich's career, that's for sure. We now move on to a segment called A Little Help from Friends. Zero, Sigil, Sorrow, Voynich. Here we go. With Voynich's match in the bag, the best kept secret gets back to his feet to a standing ovation from the Slaughterhouse crowd. He nods in appreciation and heads towards the ropes when suddenly a portal opens before him. Without having a chance to move, he slips straight inside. Within seconds, he's transported to Darby Sorrow's apartment. Immediately confused, as you'd expect, he begins hunting the room for the gravedigger. He's not here, a voice booms. It belongs to Zero. The hacker steps out from hiding behind a door and folds his arms. Where's Sigil? Voynich demands to know. The collector soon joins in from behind with a forearm to the back of the skull, knocking Voynich into a pile of trash and tumbling to the floor. Zero walks over and opens the window, allowing some fresh air in. Though truth be told, they have other ideas. Sigil pulls Voynich up and drags him over to the window. The best kept secret looks out 30 feet above the ground before being tipped outside violently. Just then, the door bursts off its hinges. It's Darby Sorrow and the Butcher. Both men have shotguns. Zero and Sigil immediately stop, looking back towards them. Bring our boy back inside, the Butcher demands, tipping his gun to ensure they understand. Sigil and Zero do exactly that, dumping Voynich on the floor. Boom! The Butcher fires his shotgun. He's aiming right at Sigil, but the Collector was wise to the act, grabbing Zero and pulling them into an instant portal almost as soon as the shot was fired. And they're gone. Colin angrily tosses the shotgun down. Fuck! He roars. Sorrow quickly checks on Voynich. You can't do this alone, he says, helping him back to his feet. You need my help. The best kept secret wipes the blood away from the back of his head and shakes it. I told you, he growls. Leave me the fuck alone. I've got this. And then he storms off as we cut. Voynich is determined to face Sigil and Zero and get the job done on his own. He doesn't want Darby Sorrow's help. And Sorrow knows that if he isn't there to help, then Voynich may not make it to the main event of Ring of Dreams. It's going to be a very interesting tag team match. Voynich is going to try and go it alone, and I don't think that's going to work out because if it wasn't for the Butcher and Darby Sorrow, he'd be a pizza splat on the floor 30 feet outside his apartment. So it's a unique situation. It's going to be a bad idea. I think it's a very bad idea to go in against Sigil on your own, let alone Sigil and Zero. So yeah, I think a big mistake for Voynich, and he might find out the hard way how much of a mistake that was or is. We're moving on to another match. It's the Sandman versus Jesse Williams. A long and storied rivalry. The Sandman killed Matthew Corey's, the uncle to Jesse Williams. He captured Ash and held him hostage for a very long time and killed Jimmy Sarter. This is huge. Big match. If Williams wants to prove to his dad that he's got it, then he'd ought to pick up the win, but let's see how it goes. The Sandman is a terrifying force, but Jesse shows no fear as he steps into the ring, squaring up with the massive Dream Demon. Boomstick! Boomstick to start the match, puts Sandman right on his fucking ass. Jesse leaps on top of him and lays into him lefts, rights, a barrage of bloody blows that just won't let up. Excuse me. Sandman grabs Jesse's head, headbutts Jesse. Another. Sandman is causing a meeting of the minds. The Night Terror stands as he continues headbutting. He throws Jesse into the corner and grabs him, pulling him to the second rope. Leaping end of days, deep sleep from the second rope. Jesse bounces lifelessly off the mat, and Sandman not even covering as he peels him up and gets him back to his feet, but gets caught with the groovy eclipse. The uppercut drops Sandman to a knee, and a dropkick rockets him into the corner. Jesse is already out of it as he tackles Sandman in the corner and assaults him with anything he can throw at him. Punches, kicks, elbows, headbutts, nothing is off limits. Flapjack by Sandman onto the turnbuckle though. And no, Jesse holds on. He holds on, he's on the top rope, and Sandman is coming after him to sand. Leaping chokeslam from the top rope sends Jesse bouncing like a rag doll. Sandman hooks a leg. 1, 2, 3. Sandman picks up the win against Jesse Williams, who gave it his all, went hard, couldn't pick up the win. Could very well add fuel to the fire for Ash Williams with that one. Yeah, I was hoping for a Jesse win there too, simply because, I think it's one of those things where he hasn't beaten him yet and kind of really wanted him to. But, it is what it is. The next one, folks, is the show reveal. The next image will reveal to you the name and poster of next season's weekly show. Sometimes in the past we've done this on pre-shows, we've done a bunch of that sort of stuff, but here it is, the style, the design, the name of the show. Next season, Season 5, our weekly show will be called TerrorVision, or TV for short. On the poster is Kane Nightlord, a new character you will see in Season 5. He is displayed on the poster for us, and there you go. TerrorVision, Season 5's show. TerrorVision will run, of course, for the whole of Season 5. You're going to see Kane Nightlord on it. It is going to be a really cool event with a really cool aesthetic. The black, the white, the blue. I hope you like it. Thing is, I couldn't get TerraVision handled, and the name was such a thing to waste, and I wasn't going to waste it. So I thought, you know what? Yeah, it's a great alternative to not getting the character for it, you know? So, okay. We are moving on to a segment called Crime Alley between Corvus and Red Wing. We're in Miami, Florida, and it's sometime next week. Throngs of people move up and down busy city streets. A bright marquee shines in the distance, showing some fluff movie playing at the cinema. But none of that matters to the man walking down the dark street in a haze. It's Red Wing. He gets some strange looks as he walks down the road, but the people got used to seeing him there all those months ago. The Caped Crusader ignores them all, as he knows the path he walks now is the one his wife and son took on that fateful night. His expression is vacant as his mind whirs with reliving their last moments. He turns down an alley to find that it's deserted, all except for one man standing in the middle of it. Corvus. The crow looks down at the pavement beneath his feet. It happened right here, Bill, he says, emotionless. This is where your life changed forever. This is where our destinies became intertwined. Redwing takes a step into the alley, his face full of conflict. I waited for this moment for years, he said, his voice full of emotion, to stand face to face with a man who murdered Sarah and Jason. Then do what you came to do, Corvus responds. Redwing shakes out his limbs, forcing some blood into them. I've come to end this, Redwing says, stepping forward, to get justice for Sarah, for Jason, for all those lives you ruined. Corvus lets a small grin cross his lips. If you want for justice, you've come to the wrong place. He gestures around them. Here, you will only find death. Redwing smiles back, and we are to be continued at Ring of Dreams. So, another absolute massive match. Corvus murdered the family of Redwing. It is Redwing's biggest match in his OSW history. It's going to be a massive contest, and obviously, if Redwing wants to avenge his family's death, he's going to have to put Corvus down, isn't he? It's going to be a really, really cool match. But now, folks, it's time for the main event. Here we are, Lee Crowley versus Nightstick. Earlier tonight, really oddly, and I'm going to have a word with the writer, we saw Nightstick and Nocturne having their skin flayed by Lee Crowley. There's not really an explanation as to why they're now in a match. Yeah. Sort of stuff pisses me off. So let's not talk about it. Let's move on. Forces of Heaven and Hell go head to head tonight. Will Lucifer snuff out Heaven's resistance, or will the Archangel deliver some law and order to the Mad King? The bell sounds as Nightstick rushes forward, delivering a stiff running hook to the jaw that staggers Crowley back. Before Lee can react, Nightstick follows up with a flurry of blows, lefts, rights, uppercuts, finishing up with a massive haymaker-like blow to the jaw that sends Crowley down to one knee and busts it open. The Mad King reaches up, wiping away the thin trickle of blood as he runs across it with his tongue before just smiling. Nightstick is deterred for a moment, before kicking Crowley's teeth in with a massive boot to the jaw. Crowley crashes to the mat, but quickly staggers up into the hands around the throat before he's bill tossed across the ring. Crowley stumbles up before he's grabbed by the hair with Nightstick's left hand and repeatedly uppercutted with the right. A final uppercut sending blood spraying across the ring before Nightstick lifts up a groggy Crowley in a bear hug, marching him across the ring and placing him on the top rope, before headbutting him to the outside. Crowley crashes to the outside, slowly getting to his feet with the help of the ring step, still with that damn smile etched upon his creepy little motherfucking face as Nightstick rolls to the outside, sizing up the Mad King for a moment before rushing forward. Drop toe hold onto the steel steps. Mark 1 for Mike Lane. Crowley suckered in Nightstick there, dropping him face first into the steel, but he's not done as Nightstick is pulled back to his feet. SDO onto the steel steps, right into Nightstick's eye. That's brutal. The edge of those steps stands hard into Nightstick's eye, causing the Archangel to cry out in pain. Blood seeping down his face, and a sickening chuckle from Crowley, who picks him up and tosses him carelessly into the ring. Lee pulls Nightstick to his feet, delivering a hard knee to the damaged eye before spiking Nightstick into the mat with a stiff DDT. Lee doesn't cover, instead heading up to the top rope, leaping off, rolling knee drop right to the bad eye. Nightstick screams out in pain, but Lee doesn't cover again, heading back to the top rope one more time as he springboards from the top. Ultimate trauma, leg drop again to the injured eye. There's a lot of focus on an eye. Nightstick is in a world of hurt here as Crowley finally drops down for the cover. 1, 2, but Nightstick gets the shoulder up. Nightstick slowly gets to his feet, half dazed and one-eyed from damaged vision as Lee dances around him, peppering the injured eye with jazz before accidentally letting his thumb slip and drives it right into Nightstick's bad eye. The Law screams in pain as Crowley gets admonished by the referee, feigning backing up from him before his smile finally turns to a scowl and he rushes forward, delivering the hideous laughter to the referee. The referee drops to the mat in massive pain as Crowley spits venom down upon him for daring interrupt his violence party before turning around into hard justice. Nightstick obliterates Crowley with that massive lariat, dropping down for the cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The referee's out cold. Nightstick pulls Crowley back up to his feet. Eye poke of doom. Crowley using that old dirty trick and it staggers him back. He rushes forward, shock therapy into the corner. Nightstick is driven into the steel with that massive spear, and Lee climbs up, raining down elbow upon elbow at the busted eye, swelling up massively as blood covers Crowley's elbow. He winds up for a massive one more shot, but Nightstick stops it. He delivers a massive headbutt, rocking Crowley before lifting him high into the air. Nightstick walks forward, Crowley trying to stop him, but he can. 9, 1, fucking 1. Nightstick nearly powerbombs Crowley through the ring, but he's absolutely spent as he collapses on the canvas alongside the Mad King. Both men slowly get back to their feet, exchanging left and right hands. But it's Crowley who gets the better of the exchange with a snap jab to the bad eye. He rushes to the ropes. Chelsea grin. Nightstick doesn't go down. Crowley goes for a second. Oh, to Bossman. No, Crowley swings out with the Bossman slam, leaping high as he tries for a tornado DDT. Sorry, hold on. Nightstick catches him with a mid-rotation, throwing him high up into the air. Smith and Weston in mid-fucking-air. Crowley looks out of it, and the referee's finally coming to just in time, but Nightstick isn't sure. He wants to put an exclamation point on this one. He pulls Lucifer back to his feet, looking for some hard justice. Crowley, though, gets back to his feet hard. Crowley dodges it. Hideous laughter. Crowley hits it out of nowhere, rolls in for the cover. 1, 2, 3. Nightstick kicks out. Nightstick kicks out. Rolling to the outside, Lee reaches under the ring and pulls out Old Faithful. He hoists Smiley Jr. up into the air. Still that sickening blood, now heavy, sickening blood red, but now with heavy barbed wire wrapped tightly around it. He swings it through the air a few times, giving it a few practice swipes before driving it down on the struggling to stand Nightstick over and over. Crowley drives Smiley Jr. down into Nightstick, riveted of blood dripping down the strands of barbed wire before Lee pulls Nightstick's head up, leering down at him before looking for the killing blow. Headbutt. Nightstick just headbutted the damn crowbar right back at Crowley, stunning the Mad King for a moment before a massive big boot sends him crashing to the canvas. Crowley stumbles to his feet, right into a kick to the gut as Nightstick lifts him up high. Crowley, though, is still brandishing Smiley Jr., brings it down onto Nightstick's skull, but the Archangel refuses to stay down, drives Crowley into the canvas. 9, 1, 1. He's not done. He lifts it up one more time. 9, 1, 1 into the turnbuckles. Buckle bomb. Crowley slams into the steel, stumbles back. Smiley Jr. to the back of the knee. Nightstick gets dropped down to one knee, and Lee quickly jams Smiley across his face before leaping up. Hideous, smiling laughter. Smiley Jr. infused backstabber, the same move he did on Scarecrow at Ring King. This is how he became the Mad King in the first place. He covers 1, 2, 3. Was there any question? The Mad King does it, putting down the Archangel with the same move he defeated the Scarecrow with to become the Mad King. Here is your winner, Lee Crowley. But we're not done. It's not over. That isn't all she wrote, folks. We're going from one match to another segment. This segment is featuring the Scarecrow, and it is called Abandon or Else. Static. Backstage, there's apparently some interference with our cameras as our footage remains grainy and almost unwatchable. But then there's a flutter. With that sound, the static begins to fade away, leaving us with a visage of the Scarecrow. He stands looking forward until the sound of something approaching can be heard behind him. His head swivels slightly, looking over his shoulder. "I could feel you here," he growls. The Scarecrow turns around, revealing none other than Brent Kirsch in his wheelchair. "I had to come," Kirsch says gruffly in reply. "Crowley told me what you're trying to do. After everything we've been through, after everything you've seen from humanity, you're willing to take their paradise for your own?" There's a silence as Crow thinks about it for a moment. "You know I can't let you do that." The Scarecrow steps forward. "You made a deal, little birdie?" he asks cautiously. "After what I sacrificed for you?" Kirsch nods stoically, standing up out of his wheelchair. They come together, face to face. It's iconic. Brent Kirsch and the Scarecrow together inside the slaughterhouse, two intrinsically linked behemoths. "I haven't come to rub your face in it, old foe," Kirsch admits. "I didn't come to betray you. I spent a time looking at my cornfield with Lane, waiting for your return. It never came. That's because I was in purgatory, having sacrificed my immortality for you," he angrily growls. "I gave you life, Brent Kirsch, after spending my existence exterminating your family heritage and lineage. I gave you life." Kirsch steps forward, somewhat angrily. "What about Trevor?" he roars. "What happens to my son in paradise if you and your monsters invade it? You must know why I've come. I couldn't protect him in life, but I sure as hell won't let you ruin his paradise in death." The Scarecrow tilts his head. "Very well, little birdie," he responds, clicking his neck. "But unless you've experienced purgatory, you have no idea what I'm fighting for." Kirsch shakes his head. "You're right," he admits, pointing at his chest. "Because I'm not a monster. Purgatory is what it is because of what you creatures are, what you've done. You can take that to paradise, but you'll make it your own personal hell. Purgatory is a reflection of what exists within it, and until you realize that, you'll never understand." Both of them stare at each other for a moment, letting their debate sink in. It's the Scarecrow who speaks first, shrugging his shoulders. "So what now?" he asks. "Either you back off and abandon this insane plot of yours, or I'm here to make you," Brent Kirsch says. That brings a smile out of the Hayman. "I was hoping you'd say that." "Oh yes. Because we're moving into a match, ladies and gentlemen. Knockout Brawl. The motherfucking Scarecrow versus the goddamn Enforcer, Brent fucking Kirsch. It is on, boys. Hype it up. Come on. Get the fuck hype. It's Brent Kirsch. He roleplayed for it. It's the Scarecrow. He fucking roleplayed for it. This is a goddamn competitive match. Dirty Bertie is in the goddamn chat. He has a roleplay in my Discord. The Scarecrow has a roleplay in my fucking emails. This match was a beast. It may not be the main event that Lee Crowley and Nightstick was, but it is the main event you motherfuckers want to see. It is on. Shall we get to it? This will probably, most definitely, most certainly be the last ever time you will see the Scarecrow versus Brent Kirsch in old school wrestling. Are you ready? Because I think you are. They both rush towards one another as if it was old times reignited here tonight. They lock up. The Scarecrow immediately tossing Kirsch aside into a nearby wall. The Enforcer smiles, dusting himself off and storming forward with a good old-fashioned clothesline that drops the Hayman. Scarecrow immediately rolls away to a knee, himself grinning. This is history. With both of them back to their feet, there's a nod of mutual respect. They lock up. Kirsch running Crow back into the wall and delivering some fierce body shots. Shot after shot, broken only by a knee to the gut that stops him in mid-punch. The Scarecrow switches places, grabbing him by the throat and slamming him into the wall instead. He follows it up with a ginormous headbutt before using his double-handed choking grip to toss Kirsch aside and across the floor. Brent slides straight into a set of chairs, sending the whole lot tumbling. The Hayman quickly approaches, grabbing a chair. Wham! Right across the once paralyzed back of Brent Kirsch. Another. Kirsch looks up, kicking out as the next one flies, stumbling the Scarecrow. He quickly grabs a chair of his own, getting back to his feet, and leaping chair shot to the Scarecrow, right to the fucking skull. That drops him to the floor in a heap as Kirsch holds his back in agony. He stumbles forward and slams the chair down on him once more for good measure. There's no pinfalls. There's no submissions. If you're going to win, you better knock the other one out. This doesn't end until one of these two badass motherfuckers are unconscious. Kirsch immediately mounts the Hayman, driving fierce right hands into him. Shot after shot. Powerful right, powerful forearm, powerful left. But the Scarecrow kicks him off powerfully overhead, and Kirsch slams into the concrete, crawling away. The monster's back up and grabs him, running into the nearest wall. Wham! Concrete dust flies everywhere, reminiscent of red snow. He grabs him again, straight into the fucking wall for a second time. There's a huge dent there now. There's concrete everywhere. Kirsch may be going through another wall. The Hayman grabs him one more time, and this time takes a run up. But no, Kirsch reverses mid-run. He sends the Scarecrow flying through the fucking wall. Holy fucking shit. The Scarecrow just flew through a fucking goddamn wall. He roars through the other side. Concrete everywhere. Brent Kirsch smirks, looking into the room he just threw Crow into by the window. You need to listen to me, he demands. Suddenly, the Scarecrow rises. Holy shit. Right in front of our eyes, right in front of the window. The Scarecrow rises. He lunges through the glass with both hands, shattering it everywhere. Double-handed choke around the Kirsch's throat. He drags him into the room. Kirsch cuts his legs and hands, trying to stop himself from being dragged inside, but fails to manage it. The Scarecrow tosses him straight into the wall behind them, grabbing him on the return and throwing him through the fucking door. Holy shit, the fire door just got blew off its fucking hinges. Brent Kirsch slams through the fire door, sending both he and the door into the hallway once more. The Enforcer is damn near broken in half. He hits the deck with such a wild thud. As Brent tries to crawl back to his feet, the Scarecrow storms out after him. He reaches down and pulls him straight back up, holding him there with one powerful hand. Headbutt, another. The Enforcer is not done. You do not count Brent Kirsch out. He's fighting back. The monster releases him. He has no choice. Brent turns around, grabbing a large metal pole. He runs it straight through the Scarecrow. Holy fucking shit. He runs it through him and right into the goddamn wall. He pins him to it. Oh my god, the Scarecrow just had a metal fucking stake driven straight through his goddamn being. Unable to move, unable to yield or fight, the Scarecrow slowly drops into unconsciousness, and Brent Kirsch, the motherfucking Enforcer, wins. The Enforcer reaches forward, grabbing the pole and pulling it out with all his might from the Scarecrow, releasing him back to the floor. And your winner is Brent Kirsch, but boy, we are not fucking done. The next segment, the Scarecrow, Brent Kirsch. It's called Paralytic. With the match over, Brent Kirsch stands victorious over his old foe, the Scarecrow. He looks down at the Heyman, who awakens from his unconsciousness to see the Enforcer stood over him. You have to end this crusade, Kirsch demands, absolutely exhausted. The Scarecrow gets back to both knees, shaking his head vehemently. You don't understand, do you? He questions with a look of disgust. You have no idea what I'm fighting for because you've not once seen the afterlife. Brent shakes his head. It doesn't matter. You once sacrificed your life for me, the Enforcer reminds him. Now I need you to do the same for everyone else. Their souls need a paradise, Scarecrow. You can't take that away from them. The Scarecrow rises back to his feet, a big decision to make. Does he give it all up, his entire crusade, and step aside? Does he do the right thing? Instead, he reaches for Brent Kirsch's throat, squeezing it so hard he almost falls to his knees. I won't, he growls sinisterly. And you can't make me, little birdie. With that declaration, he releases Kirsch, only the Enforcer doesn't remain on his feet. He falls immediately to the floor with a wicked squeal. The Heyman looks confused. What is it? He demands to know, surprised. Get up. I can't, Kirsch replies in agony. It's you that doesn't understand, Crow. The Scarecrow puts his hands on his hips. I made a deal with the devil tonight, Brent admits with a disgusted look on his face. I believed I could convince you to abandon this quest to steal paradise. Crowley offered me the use of my legs again if I succeeded. That changes things slightly for the Scarecrow. He reaches down, pulling Kirsch back to his feet. And if you failed? He demands to know. I would be paralyzed once again, Kirsch admits with a deep and horrible sadness. They share a look. Years of history. Hundreds of memories, many of them terrible. But there's a connection. A sincere and honest connection between them. The Scarecrow lifts him up by placing his arms beneath him. I cannot leave here, but I will ensure that you do safely, he says honestly. Kirsch nods stoically. Please think about it, Scarecrow, he pleads. Should you take heaven, your monsters will torment the souls of those who exist and come there. It will become hell. You're the only one who can change purgatory for the better. They share a look. Heading down the corridor, Brent Kirsch held in the arms of the Scarecrow. I'll consider it, Crow responds. And we cut. Woo! Whew. Wow. I'm not going to lie to you boys. The minute Patty said, Scarecrow's back, could you fit me in? I made this show live. Literally, I spoke to Pat in Discord. He wanted to do this. I made the show live within minutes of that conversation because I knew what this would mean to everyone on the roster to see this match, to see this history, to have someone we all miss so dearly like Pat come back for a match. We obviously wish he'd be here for a lot longer than a match, but to have him back for a match is an honour and a pleasure. Lee Crowley fucked up. He made a deal with Kirsch. Kirsch, you can understand why he took it. It was his son. You know, Trevor's in paradise, and should Purgatory take it, the monsters are just going to turn it into hell. He understands that. I want to say the show's over, but it's not. There is one more segment to go. If we can get through it, it isn't as big as what we've just seen, but it's definitely big in relation to the main event of Ring of Dreams. It's called Interview with the Champion. It's the final segment of the night. It is Voynich and Luke Storm. We catch up with Voynich just in time to see him storming down the street and away from Darby Sorrow's apartment. He's furious that the Butcher and Darby Sorrow had just saved his life, but why? It doesn't make any sense. He walks past the television store with televisions in the window and stops. The show headline reads, Interview with the Champion. As it turns out, Luke Storm is on a chat show. You're just 1 week away from becoming the OSW World Champion, the presenter asks. Is it a foregone conclusion? Luke scoffs. Look, I respect Voynich, my opponent. You may or may not have heard of him, but he's a great wrestler, a great man, and a great champion. But I'm a multi-time OSW world champion. I've won Ring King and Lambs to the Slaughter. I've done things in my career this kid can only dream of. I hate to say it, because he is great, but he doesn't have what it takes to beat me. The presenter laughs, and the audience cheers. Voynich's face screws up, his hands finding his hips. You don't think he'll bring his best? The presenter asks. Oh, he'll bring everything he has, there's no doubt about it, Storm replies. But Voynich has never had to step up to that next level. He's never had to be on the main stage. Ring of Dreams is the biggest event in OSW outside of Red Snow. As much as I respect the kid, and I do, he just won't be able to get that next gear. I'm not sure he has it. Crash! Suddenly, the best kept secret throws a wild punch towards the glass window, shattering it with the ferocity of his right hand. As passers-by panic and run off in each and every direction, Voynich squeezes his blood-soaked hand with bloody shards of glass sticking out of it. He just isn't capable of being ruthless, Luke says with a toothy smile. And in the ring with me, that'll cost him. We close in on the bloodied fist. And then we cut, ending the final fury of Season 4 and the penultimate episode of that season. We are now heading to Ring of Dreams 7, the main event. Voynich defending his OSW championship in a match against Luke Storm, the Lambs to the Slaughter winner, the man who wants to break the curse. Can he do it? All we know is that he has just stirred something in Voynich that we have not seen. And I don't think it's a stretch to say that Voynich will be coming to Ring of Dreams 7 a different kind of animal. It's going to be massive. It's going to be huge. It is Ring of Dreams 7. We have so many incredible storylines taking place, some incredible matches. You know, things that we've all been waiting a very, very long time to see. Luke Storm came through Lambs to the Slaughter to earn the opportunity, but the curse is real. 6 other people have won Lambs to the Slaughter and not won the OSW Championship. This is the last Fury before Ring of Dreams 7, which will be live next week on Fastlane Plays. You can find it there. His link is obviously in my description. It'll be posted everywhere when the show goes live, but this is the card. Voynich defends his OSW Championship against Luke Storm, the winner of Lambs to the Slaughter. Luke Storm, on the very same night, will face the Sandman. He threatens that if he can kill Sandy Rogers, he believes he can kill the Sandman. Can the Sandman stop him from doing that? Will it even matter? Monty Straight, the Judge, and Reaper battle in a triple threat match. The Reaper wants revenge for his family dying to save his life. The Judge wants revenge for the balance of the universe being upset. And Monty Straight, who set this whole thing in motion, just wants a fantastic finale to his show. What's it going to be? Cody and Albert Shaw do battle after Albert Shaw was bought by Nigel Royal. Albert Shaw turned his back on Blood Money Inc., including a vile and brutal beatdown of Cody in betrayal of their friendship, their tag team partnership, and their stable. Cody is seeking revenge and will have an opportunity at the double feature championship. Can he upset the apple cart? Can he defeat Albert Shaw? Sigil teams with Zero to take on Darby, Sorrow, and Voynich, but Voynich has made it clear he does not want Sorrow's help. He has to do this alone. Voynich has promised the Butcher that he will kill Sigil at Ring of Dreams. Can he do it? Will he do it? Does he have the courage? Does everybody thinking he's some kind of pussy mean that he won't? Or has he just turned a fucking corner? Maybe he has. Pyre and Sweet Alice will do battle for the kingdom of Wonderland in a throne match. Pyre has tormented Alice for nearly a year. Nearly a year, from tag team friendship to enemies. Only one of them can rule Wonderland. Who will it be? Banzan takes on Leif Helvig in a match that will be violent and bloody and brutal, and we'll see two fucking monsters kick the living shit out of each other. It is not a wrestling match. Give up on the idea that it's a wrestling match. It's not. It's a fucking fight. Banzan has been told if he can put Fenrir's chains back on Leif Helvig, they will take Helvig away. He will leave OSW and never return. All Banzan has to do is sacrifice him back to his captors. Can he defeat him any other way? Simon and Death Note. It began with a game of chess. Simon managed to have his name erased from Death Note's book, and Death Note cannot stand it. At Ring of Dreams, they fight inside a steel cage, where Death Note plans to add Simon's name back to his fucking book. Corvus, a member of the Black Hand, has infiltrated OSW and affected our lineage and history for years. He has been responsible for so many acts, from the wheels of the fucking bus of Axel the Shark, all the way through history. Corvus has been affecting us with the Black Hand. Now we find out that he murdered Red Wing's family, and Bill Kirby has an opportunity to right the wrong that has set him on this journey. This is his opportunity to get vengeance for his family. Mr. Andy and Rune. Mr. Andy, once known as Seesaw, has been trying to show the world that he's a changed man. He has put everything into becoming someone else. Red Wing wouldn't let it be, but he overcame it. Now Rune is forcing him to fight inside the fucking toy box. The same place that Freight Train Ferguson, Marvolo 2, Kenny Freeman, Dr. DeVille, and Fo Newton have all perished. Can Mr. Andy defeat Rune without killing him? No one has survived the toy box. No one. Can Rune walk out of that match alive, let alone with a win? Will Mr. Andy prove Rune right? Or can he finally put to bed the notion that he is Seesaw in disguise? The unfounded notion that he is Seesaw in disguise. Can he finally put it to bed? This is a conspiracy for Rune. The biggest one there is in OSW. And a Ring of Dreams, he plans to explore it. Beg takes on Nigel Royal in a loser leaves OSW match, but it's not just that. It's for all the marbles. It's for everything. All the money, all the stocks, all the shares, all the businesses. It's for everything. Loser leaves. If Nigel Royal loses this match, he leaves OSW for good, never to return, and leaves a poor man. If Beg loses this match, he leaves OSW, never to return, not under anonymous, not under a mask. He leaves, never to return, and will not have a penny to show for his time here. Viper Roberts takes on Two-Face. At Red Snow, Alton Whitlock overcame the odds and defeated Beg, putting their miserable and torrid history to bed. Viper Roberts tried to recruit him and make him a snake, and Alton Whitlock blew him off. In an explosion that followed, Alton Whitlock had half his face burned off and became Two-Face. At Ring of Dreams, in what should be a brutal match. Viper Roberts and Two-Face will do battle. It'll be a war. Also at Ring of Dreams, Chunky Moses, Magical Miles, and Stoner will battle in the graveyard of Ultimo Sherman Dewey. Sherman Dewey is a zombie. He died when Purgatory made themselves known in OSW, when Purgatory rose with the Heaven versus Hell war and announced themselves. It was monsters that tore Sherman Dewey apart. Ultimo, Magical Miles, Chunky Moses, they wanted to bring their friend back. That's all they wanted to do. They just wanted to bring their friend back from the dead, and they trusted in Leah Lincoln to do so. They trusted her. The Swamp Witch brought back a monster, a puppet, a toy. And Ultimo America sacrificed his life to stop her. It's now up to his friends, Chunky, Magical, and Stoner, to put Sherman Dewey back in the ground once and for all. They have to protect his legacy. They have to put their friend down. Can they do it? Father versus son. Jesse Williams versus Ash Williams. Ash doesn't think Jesse's ready to go it alone, and Jesse just wants to step out of his dad's shadow. This started when Ash made a deal with the Sandman to protect his son by offering up Luke Storm. That's what he did. Jesse couldn't abide that. He couldn't stand that. He couldn't, for one single second, give up another man for his own protection. That's not what a hero does. That has led them here. Ash thinks his son is naive and needs more training and doesn't get it. Jesse just wants to be left alone. One of them will leave at Old School Wrestling's Ring of Dreams 7. One of them will leave for good. Which one will it be? And finally, last but not least, Sweet Dreams match. Nightstick and Troy Solvig versus Lee Crowley and Nocturne versus the Scarecrow and the Sandman. We saw tonight that Lee Crowley, as Lucifer, made a deal with Brent Kirsch to try and convince the Scarecrow to turn his back on his plans. The winners of this match will secure paradise for their team. If Nightstick and Solvig win, heaven remains heaven. If Lee Crowley and Nocturne win, they will rule heaven like hell. And if the Scarecrow and the Sandman win, the monsters from Purgatory will have a heaven to go to. The Scarecrow promised Brent Kirsch he'd consider it. Lee Crowley is going to pay for what he did to Kirsch. Nightstick and Troy struck first, and Crowley responded by flaying the skin off their bodies and defeating Nightstick in a brutal match here at Fury. Only one team can win. Either heaven will be secured as a paradise for the good souls of the world, or hell will take it over, or Purgatory will allow monsters to enter. But one way or another, heaven versus hell versus Purgatory ends at Ring of Dreams 7. There can only be one. There can only be one. This has been Fury 238 Ring of Emotion. We have an amazing card for Ring of Dreams 7. We have a brilliant ending to this show. A lovely memory of Brent Kirsch. Fighting the Scarecrow that I'm sure we'll all remember for a very long time. Thank you to Cal and thank you to Pat for participating. I really hope you've enjoyed the Go Home show for season 5. Hope you're looking forward to TerrorVision as much as I am. It's going to be badass, and I've written one hell of a Ring of Dreams for you all to enjoy with Mike Lane next Saturday night. So, join us then, midnight, next Saturday. Fastlane plays. Ring of Dreams. It is gonna be epic. I'll be in the Discord for a little while, not rushing off to bed, so I'll be in the Discord for a little while. If you want to come and chat to me, come and chat to me in Discord. We'll talk over some things. I'll get the show up on the forum so you can read it. I do apologise about you not being able to read everything on stream here. I know it's a bit of a pain in the ass. I'm sure you're used to being able to do that, so I'll get the show up ASAP. All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. We had a really good turnout tonight. Over 20 for quite a bit. Really appreciate that. Thank you for the subs, Chris, Zach, Alex, and the gift subs and the bits and everything. It's really, really appreciated. Thanks for showing me the love. And I will see you in Discord. Take it easy, everyone. Thanks for coming.